Most men are loud about their plans and silent about their results. The Sigma male is the opposite. And that's exactly why, in 2026, while everyone else is performing their life on social media, he's already 3 moves ahead of people who don't even know they're playing a game. If you've ever felt like you don't fit the traditional social hierarchy, not the alpha, not the follower, but something entirely different, something quieter, something more calculated, then what you're about to hear in the next few minutes might be the most important thing you listen to all year. Stay with me because this isn't a motivational pep talk. This is a blueprint. Let's be real for a second. The world in 2026 is noisier than it has ever been. Every platform is designed to steal your attention. Every app is engineered to make you react, scroll, compare, and feel behind. And most men are falling for it, spending hours watching other people live while their own potential sits untouched. But in the middle of all that noise, there's a type of man who operates on a completely different frequency. He doesn't post every workout. He doesn't announce every decision. He doesn't need validation from a comment section to feel secure. He just moves, quietly, strategically, and with an almost unsettling sense of calm. That is the Sigma male of 2026, and the world is starting to notice him, not because he asked to be noticed, but because results are impossible to ignore. Now, before we go deeper, let's be clear about what a Sigma male actually is in 2026, because this concept has been misunderstood and meme-fied into something almost meaningless. A Sigma male is not a guy who's antisocial because he's awkward. He's not someone who hates people or thinks he's better than everyone. He's not a rebel without a cause. He is a man who has chosen mastery over performance. He understands that attention is a currency, and he refuses to spend his carelessly. He's not outside the social game because he can't play it. He's outside it because he's looked at the scoreboard and decided the rules don't serve him. That distinction matters more than most people realize. The first thing you need to understand about the Sigma mindset in 2026 is silence as strategy. We live in a culture that rewards people who talk about what they're going to do. People announce gym plans, business ideas, relationship goals, and then the dopamine hit from the likes replaces the actual drive to execute. The Sigma male has figured out that energy is finite. Every time you talk about what you're building, you leak a little bit of the pressure that would have pushed you to actually build it. So he stays quiet, not because he has nothing to say, but because his actions are doing the talking, and actions speak in a language that is far louder than any caption or tweet ever could. Think about the men throughout history who changed the world. Many of them weren't the loudest in the room. They were the ones sitting in the corner, observing, processing, and then executing with terrifying precision. In 2026, that archetype isn't outdated. It's actually more powerful than ever because it's so rare. Everyone is performative now. The man who isn't performing is automatically magnetic because people are drawn to mystery they can't quite figure out. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, people start paying a different kind of attention to you, a respectful one. The second layer of the Sigma male's advantage in 2026 is emotional self-governance. This one is massive. We are in the most emotionally reactive era in human history. Social media algorithms are literally designed to provoke outrage, jealousy, and anxiety because those emotions generate clicks. The average man today is getting emotionally hijacked multiple times a day without even realizing it. He sees someone's highlight reel and feels inadequate. He reads a comment and spends 3 hours composing a response in his head. He gets triggered, reacts, says things, posts things, and then wonders why his life feels chaotic. The Sigma male has trained himself to pause between stimulus and response. That pause, that small, powerful moment of self-control, is where his entire edge lives. He doesn't react, he responds. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. This emotional discipline bleeds into every area of his life. In business, he doesn't panic when a deal falls through. He analyzes, adjusts, and moves on. In relationships, he doesn't chase, beg, or make decisions from a place of desperation. He knows his value, communicates it calmly, and walks away when something doesn't align, without drama, without explanation, without looking back. In social situations, he doesn't compete for dominance or try to dominate every conversation. He observes more than he speaks, and when he does speak, people actually listen. because they've learned that he doesn't waste words. Now let's talk about something that most people skip over when they discuss the Sigma male, and that's the discipline of long-term thinking in a short-term world. In 2026, the average attention span is shorter than ever. People want results yesterday. They switch careers after 6 months, abandon businesses after a bad quarter, quit relationships at the first sign of difficulty. The Sigma male operates on a different timeline. He has internalized the understanding that everything worth having takes longer than you expect and costs more than you planned, and he's made peace with that. He plants seeds today that he won't harvest for 2 or 3 years, and he's completely comfortable with that because he knows what he's building. This long-term orientation changes how he spends his time. While others are binge-watching content for 4 hours, he's spending 2 of those hours on a skill that will matter in 3 years. While others are living for the weekend, he's slowly, quietly constructing something that will give him freedom 7 days a week. He doesn't hustle for hustle's sake. That's performance again. He works with intention, specifically on things that compound over time. Skills compound. Networks built on genuine value compound. Financial decisions made with patience compound. And the Sigma male understands compounding better than almost anyone in his social circle. Let's also address independence, not just financial independence, but psychological independence, because this is one of the defining traits of the Sigma male in 2026. Most people's decisions are filtered through external validation. They choose careers based on what their parents will be proud of. They buy things to signal status to people they barely like. They stay in situations that are slowly killing them because leaving would require explaining themselves. The Sigma male has done the internal work to separate his self-worth from external opinion. He respects the perspectives of a small circle of people he genuinely trusts, mentors, close friends, family who actually know him. And beyond that, he makes his decisions based on his own judgment. This independence is not arrogance. It's the result of deep self-knowledge. He knows what he values, what he wants, and what he won't tolerate, and that clarity makes him impossible to manipulate. In 2026, this psychological independence is particularly powerful because manipulation is everywhere. Advertisements are telling you you're not enough unless you buy something. Social media is telling you you're behind unless you perform more. Relationships, even friendships, can sometimes be transactional, designed to extract energy or resources. The Sigma male sees these dynamics clearly and navigates them with a calm awareness. He's not paranoid, he's discerning. There's a huge difference. Now let's get into something real, the dark side of the Sigma path, because I'd be doing you a disservice if I only gave you the highlight reel. The Sigma male's life is not always comfortable. His independence can tip into isolation if he's not careful. His silence can be misread as coldness. His long-term thinking can make it hard to enjoy the present, and his self-reliance can sometimes prevent him from asking for help when he genuinely needs it. These are real pitfalls, and the evolved Sigma male in 2026 knows about them. He cultivates a small but deep network of real relationships. He balances his internal world with genuine human connection. He remains humble enough to know that no man, no matter how self-sufficient, builds anything great entirely alone. The goal is not to be an island. The goal is to be a man whose presence adds undeniable value wherever he goes, and whose absence is always felt. The Sigma male in 2026 is also a student, relentlessly, almost obsessively. He understands that the world is changing faster than at any point in human history, and the men who will thrive are not the strongest or the loudest, but the most adaptable and the most skilled. He reads. He listens to people smarter than him without letting ego get in the way. He takes courses, has mentors, and constantly seeks feedback in the areas that matter to him. He is not the man who thinks he's arrived. He is the man who is always arriving, always leveling up, always just a little further along than he was last month. That mentality is addictive in the best possible way. And finally, and this is perhaps the most important thing I'll say, the Sigma male of 2026 understands that his lifestyle is not for everyone, and he's completely fine with that. He doesn't recruit people into his way of thinking. He doesn't argue with men who are playing a different game. He doesn't need to defend his choices or justify his path to anyone. He simply lives in a way that, over time, becomes undeniable. The people who were confused by his quietness start to respect it. The people who thought his discipline was extreme start to ask him for advice. The people who underestimated his long game start to realize, too late, that he was 10 steps ahead the entire time. That's the Sigma male in 2026, not a fantasy, not a meme, a real lived approach to manhood that cuts through the noise, builds something lasting, and does it all without asking the world for permission. The question is not whether this path is possible. The question is whether you have the patience, the discipline, and the self-belief to walk it. Most won't, but you're still watching, and that already tells me something about you.